No way, I must change and tomorrow I'll start.
When it feels scary to jump, Ian, that is exactly when you jump. Otherwise, you end up staying in the same place your whole life.
Everyone wants to change, whether it's building a new habit or ditching a bad one. We all know how important change is. Yet most of us never really change. We start new habits and new goals, but after a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month, we slip back into our old selves. Is there something we're missing? Is our approach to change wrong? What's the real story behind why? Despite all our effort, we end up the same after a while. Trust me, I'm going to talk about a change in a way you've never heard before. Because, dear friends, I'm going reverse. I'm not going to focus on how to change and stay changed. Sure, I'll touch on that, but I will focus mostly on the reason that stop us from changing. And remember this, you can't truly change until you understand the resistance to change. Right now, make yourself your favorite cup of coffee, and I just ask your full attention. What you will hear will leave a mark, I promise. And if this message finds a place in your heart, pass it on to someone who needs it to. I want to start right in the middle of the idea, not at the beginning. Just pause for a moment and think with me. You have to let the idea touch your own life. Only then does it actually stick. Only then does it mean something. Because a change doesn't work when it is just a theory. It works when it becomes yours. Life isn't perfect. It's rich and beautiful, yes. But it also has its share of challenges, distractions, and moments that feel hollow. At first, we want a change. Lose weight, find a partner, chase your dream career. Change brings pride, self-respect, satisfactions like we witnessed before. Let's say you decided, I'll be sporty tomorrow, and add an hour of exercise to your daily routine from tomorrow. You train a day, then the next, a week, a month or two. That's great. But then the initial fire burns out, excuses creep in, and soon you don't want to do it anymore. That motivation gone. There is something inside all of us called the normalcy bias. It's a mental habit where we prefer things to stay as they are, even when deep down we know they are not good for us. Why? Because what's familiar feels safe, even if it's hurting us. Let me give you an example. Most people know that sitting all day without exercise can lead to serious health problems, heart disease, diabetes, even early death. They are aware of the danger, but still don't move. They keep doing the same thing every day. Why? It's not because they are weak or they lack willpower. It's because staying the same feels easier than changing. And that's the heart of it. Change means risk. It means stepping into something unknown. But staying the same, it feels safe, comfortable, even if that comfort is slowly causing harm. And often, this isn't something we consciously think about. We might feel stuck, but you cannot explain exactly why. Something inside you is pulling you back, but it's invisible, like emotional gravity. So the real problem isn't always the goal you want to reach. It's the quiet, hidden part of you that's scared to leave what's familiar. And until you understand that and face it, you will keep keep wondering why your motivation fades and why change feels so hard even when you want it. Back in 1930s, the psychologist Kurt Lewin was sitting at a cafe in Berlin. He wasn't there just to enjoy coffee. He was watching people. That's what psychologists do. But one person in particular caught his attention, a single waiter. This waiter was fast, sharp, and most impressively, he wasn't writing anything down. No notebook, no order pad, just his memory. Lewin watched him take the entire order for a group sitting at a table nearby. And then, just after 15 minutes later, the waiter returned with every single item exactly right, not a single mistake. Kurt was amazed. So after that table finished their meal and paid the bill, Lewin walked over to the waiter and said, "Excuse me, can I ask? What was it that table just ordered?" The waiter looked at him, puzzled. "That table," he said. "Sorry, I have no idea. They have already paid." Just like that, the memory was gone. And in that moment, Lewin had realization that would become a core idea in the psychology of motivation. As long as there is an open task, something left unfinished, the brain holds tension. But the moment the task is done, that tension disappears, and so does the motivation. Now think about that in the context of your own life. You begin a change, starting a workout routine, writing a book, building a new habit, and in the beginning, you feel a pull, a drive, the tension between where you are now and where you want to be. But if the goal starts to feel far away, or you hit a small win and tell yourself, close enough, that tension begins to ease. And when the tension fades, so does your momentum. This is exactly why change feels exciting in the beginning but hard to sustain. Tension creates movement, but comfort makes you stop. Sometimes staying the same feels easier, not because it's what we truly want, but because it's less emotionally demanding. Until we learn how to hold that tension and use it the right way, we'll keep circling around the same start-stop pattern, wondering why we never fully change. Lewin says we have forces that push us toward change, ambition, desire, hope, and forces that hold us back, habits, social pressure, fear of failure, comfort zone. Unless the push force is stronger than the resistance force, change won't happen. Your environment, your skills, your support all contribute to that dynamic. That's why these forces don't look the same for everyone. Take these three people, Adam, Sarah, and Noor, all want to lose weight. Adam feels lonely, wants confidence to meet someone. Sarah, a runner who wants to get better. Noor has high cholesterol and wants to be healthier. Same goal, different internal drivers. Attention motivates each differently, and so the sustaining power of change is unique to each person. Change demands hope, not just motivation or discipline, but the deep belief that what we are doing actually matters and that it can lead somewhere better. Hope is what keeps us moving when things get hard, when results are slow, and when doubt starts creeping in. Without hope, every small setback feels like a dead end. But with hope, those same setbacks feel like part of the journey. Think of Winston Churchill during World War II. He didn't promise quick victories. He didn't hide the truth. Instead, he stood up and declared, "We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall never surrender. He wasn't talking about winning. He was talking about not giving up. That is what hope looks like. It's not about having a perfect plan. It's about holding on to the belief that something good is still possible, even when you are in the middle of the struggle. Hope is what keeps you taking the next step, even when the end isn't in the sight yet. When you start doubting yourself, thinking things like, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be able to do that, that's fear speaking, and fear has a way of slowly shutting down hope. Ross puts it perfectly. Losing belief in yourself is often the result of past disappointments. In other words, when things didn't work out before, it left a mark, a kind of emotional scare. And now, instead of believing in yourself, you are carrying the story of failure. But here is the truth. It's not just you, it's what happened to you and what you started believing about yourself because of those moments. The good news, you can unclear those beliefs. You can rebuild the trust in yourself, and when you do, hope returns. And with hope, real change becomes possible again. We resist the change because we fear loneliness. We don't want to leave comfort zones or disappoint people. Change invites new expectation from self and others. We fear unknown outcomes, job, relationships, etc. I'll give you key tools for real change. 1. Hope fuels drive. Without it, change is impossible. 2. Track small wins. Don't only chase the big goals. Celebrate small steps. 3. Don't break the chain. Mark every day you take action. Don't miss a day. 4. Face your fears without awareness. Know if it's fear of failure, fear of hope, fear of judgment. In 1980s, Eric was a skilled carpenter by day and a drummer in local band by night. But he had a bad habit he hated. He was a heavy smoker. He tried to quit many times and failed. Then came an unusual idea. He asked his bandmates to take a photo of him mid-smoke, looking tired, messy, and miserable. Across the picture, he wrote on words in bold red letters, "Idiot." He printed copies, kept one in his pocket, tapped others on his mirror in his car, gave a few to friends with one request: if you watch me smoking or even about to, hold this up. They did every time, and within 2 weeks Eric stopped smoking. A month later, the photos disappeared. He never went back, not even once. Why did it work? Because Eric didn't just fight the habit, he changed his relationship with it by facing it, owning it, and letting others in to hold him accountable. Eric's method, he changed his relationship with the behavior. He made a public accountability structure work for him. Change doesn't look the same for everyone. What works for one person may not work for another, because a change is personal. It depends on your habits, your emotions, your past, and your reasons. But while the way we change may be different, the stages of change tend to follow a similar path. Reflection. First, you realize something needs to change. You start asking yourself honest questions. Preparation. Then you begin getting ready, setting goals, planning, or making small adjustments. Action. This is where you actually start doing the new behavior. You step into change. Maintenance. And finally, you work to keep the change going. You stay consistent even when it's getting hard. These stages are much easier to move through when you have a few key things. Hope to believe it's possible. Self-awareness to understand your pattern and triggers. Accountability so you don't do it alone. And celebration of small wins. Because progress, no matter how small, keeps you moving. Change isn't a formula, but it does have a rhythm. And once you understand that rhythm, you can work with it instead of fighting against it. Thank you for spending these moments with me. I hope today's reflections helped you see that real change isn't just about pushing forward. It's also about understanding what's been holding you back. If this message spoke to you, feel free to share it with someone you care about. Take care, and I'll meet you again in the next episode.